Hi, everyone. It's Yvonne Emile Elizondo from Silver Moon Astrology and Transpersonal Counseling, also known as Silver Moon Counseling. And it is, the witchy season is upon us. And I don't know what it is about this witchy season, but I'm really struggling with this witchy season. Maybe it's because I'm in Central Texas and it's not cold and the leaves aren't turning yet. And we're in the 80s and it's just not fun. I lived in Massachusetts and Colorado for some time, and oh yeah, that was witchy for sure. So I've been trying to do the best that I can to keep my witchy vibe up during this October season of the witch. And with Halloween, Samhain right around the corner, I thought maybe I would share with you some of my personal witchy development books that really helped me along the way, and maybe they will encourage you and help you as well. So I have a lot of books, but I'm not going to share all of them in this video. I think what I'm going to do is make several videos depending on the theme of the video. Actually, that's what I'm going to do, because that's how my mind, see, this is how I work. I just come up with plans as I'm in the mix. I'm just, okay, that's what we're going to do. Okay. All right. So the first set of books that I wanted to share are about psychic development, right? Because we know that if, the theme of the witch, right, is partly about psychic development. It's about your own spiritual development and how to use those senses, okay, our psychic senses that are all correlated to our physical senses, how we can learn about them and how we can develop them. So the following books that I'm going to share were really cool, good reads and very, very informative that I always recommend to my clients. So I'm going to start off one by one. So I'm going to grab them, put them on my lap so I don't make a huge mess here. All right. So the very first one that I really enjoy and that I always encourage everyone to get is Discover Your Psychic Type. Now, I'm not being paid for any of these recommendations. This is just me putting this out there because I like these. Okay. So Discover Your Psychic Type. I love it. It is by Sherrie Dillard. And I really enjoyed this book because it's really about like more discovering your intuitive sense. Okay. And the way that she just planned everything out was, I really, really enjoyed it. Like it was okay. So let me backtrack and say, you probably know if you've been watching my videos that I have massive ADHD, and sometimes I take Adderall and sometimes I don't. And I haven't been taking Adderall for the last 2 months. And so I'm trying to manage without it. So when a book is very, very neatly, just detailed, it's got very clean font. I really appreciate that because then my mind goes, ooh, I can read that. Okay. Well, my brain actually, not my mind. My brain goes, ooh, I can read that. But anyhow, other than the fact that it's very neat, I love that she includes like challenges in her books and in the book. And it's a challenge for you to try the exercise or to go out and find, your psychic type. And so I'm not going to dive into too much about what the book is actually entailed, but I can tell you that it does give you the opportunity to discover your psychic type. And it's very much, highly correlated to like the water element, the fire element. Okay. So it's very elemental in nature. And I'll just read this very quickly. Intuition and spiritual growth are inherently linked. You try saying that. Okay. So this offers a perspective of the 4 psychic types. And again, it's very much in tune to the elemental aspect, which course, what witch isn't into well, I shouldn't say that because there may be witches out there that are not into the elemental aspects. So this witch is into the elemental aspects, which is why she's recommending this book. Okay, so that's that one. The next one and this one was deep and dark and psychic vampires. Okay, and this is by Joe H. Slate. He is a PhD. And this one is really about protecting yourself against psychic vampires, which is very appropriate during the Halloween season because we know vampires always run amok during the Halloween season. And I really enjoyed this book. This was it was very vampirism type of oriented, right? For example, it talks about like parasitic social phobia, parasitic death phobia, hypochondrophobia. So there is a lot more than just like, whoa, how to protect yourself. It goes in deep to more of the philosophical, from my perspective, underpinnings of psychic vampirism. but I also enjoyed it because he gives you exercises that you can practice. There's an aura exercise in here that I absolutely loved. And I don't remember where I should have bookmarked them, but I didn't. So again, like for example, step one, primary, viewing aura. I actually turned to the page. Look at that. Okay. Viewing the aura, cognitive relaxation, finger interlocking, affirmation, cosmic infusion, yada, 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 steps 1 through 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's very step oriented, which again, I absolutely enjoy. So you may want to check this one out. Lots of really good information there. And before I move into more of the psychic development, I have to include this one in here because, come on, how to communicate with spirits. I adore this book. Okay. Elizabeth Owens, I recommend this book. I don't know if it's in print still, to be honest with you, but again, I like the step-by-step, very, cohesive type of approach. And she really does a wonderful job. For example, she provides like the essence of like the spirit guides that are going to help us communicate with spirits. And I remember when I read that she called it the gatekeeper, right? So she says, the first guide in the band is called the gatekeeper or the doorkeeper. And I was like, oh, I love that. I love that. So her approach is very direct. Very, I don't want to say simple in the fact that it's like not high level, but it's very direct and concise and clear. So that's, I guess, the better word I'm looking for. So please, this one, how to communicate with spirits. You definitely want to do that because the veil is thinning. We all know that happens during Samhain. So there we go. All right. And the next one is, I really love her. I've never actually met her, but I do love her work. And this is by Michelle Bellinger. Okay, again, trying to say, please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. But again, the Psychic Energy Codex, okay, awakening your subtle senses, same thing. We're talking about like psychic development, okay? So for example, this is, her book is specifically on how we can use energy work to enhance and infuse our psychic development, basically. And she really does a really great job, okay? She even discusses the subtle body anatomy, which is really in tune to our physical body, but she talks about the energy centers, right? Like the navel, the heart, the throat, and what that means. There's graphs in here. Again, just really discovering the essence of your psychic development. There was one piece in here that I enjoyed, which was sustaining body and spirit. So it is a very, how do I say it? I felt from what I took away from this book was that her approach is very much about the mind-body connection, okay? And it's not just about the psychic senses, but it's about how we can tune in the mind-body connection to the subtle energy system, which is amazing. All right, so make sure that you grab that one as well. This next one, when I read the title, I was like, really, how corny and cheesy is this? But it's really a great book, okay? The Only Psychic Power Book You Will Ever Need, okay? And this is by Michael R. Hathaway, and he's right. Like, if you only bought one book, this could truly be it, okay? Again, he goes into like really being more about being more in tune about which is your stronger type. So whereas the other ones are about identifying your psychic type and working with your subtle energies, he really dives into which is your more stronger sense. You might have one, you might have two, right? We could have clairaudient, clairsentient, okay, and which one of those, claircognizant, okay, clairvoyance, and one of those, which of those are, maybe your stronger ones. And I'm not listing them all here, obviously, but this is really a great, and it's a quick read. Look at that, super simple, and I love it. Okay. So intuitive touch, right? Touch is a very powerful sense. When you touch something, it can unleash a flow of psychic images. Yep. True. So grab this one as well. All right. And the last one here, because we are opening up to energy, because we are opening up to potential psychic vampires, or people who are going to suck our energy out. We also may come across people who are intentionally sending us stuff that we don't necessarily want to be dealing with. And I have to tell you, my daughter and I were dealing with some pretty bad juju that was sent our way, and we had to manage it for, a good 2-3 months before we were actually able to settle it down. But this is the book that you would need to manage protecting yourself. So the Psychic Shield, okay, this is by Caitlin Matthews, and it is a personal handbook of psychic protection. And I love, love, love this book because she gives plenty of teachings, okay, or examples or suggestions on what about, not on, because it would be on the book, about what you can do to create a really strong sense of knowing when, negative energy is being sent your way, when it's coming your way. And here's the thing, like in my experience, I'll just share it with you. When people come and tell me, hey, you know what, I think I've been cursed, that's rare. Okay. A lot of times it is just intentional energy being sent, or unintentional energy being sent. But a lot of the times when we're dealing with like psychic, curses and hexes and stuff, a lot of it is our own emotional state that is creating chaos. Right. So great book to pick up to really get an understanding of the underpinnings of what you can do to protect your psychic shield, which is very important. And on that note, I will share with you the universal, most simple, basic little coping skill or a psychic shield technique that you can use for your protection. And that is to create your own psychic bubble, your protection bubble. Okay. Here's the thing. The brain doesn't know the difference between something that is happening live, something that is happening in memory, something that is happening in the imagination. That is why we have such a high level of PTSD, okay? Because the brain doesn't know the difference. It responds almost the same to anything that is live and real versus imaginary or memory. So why am I bringing this up? Because when we create our protective bubble, it is using the imagination. It is intentionally using our energy to create a bubble. Now, if some of you are young enough to know the Wizard of Oz, like the original, the OG Wizard of Oz, one of my favorites, of course, that was Glenda coming down in this bubble. Okay. That's what you envision, is just create this bubble of protection. And I do it in the morning as soon as I wake up, or when I'm brushing my teeth. I'm kind of starting to wake up at that time. And then I do it throughout the day periodically. I always do it when I'm going into spaces that are going to be very noisy, chaotic, lots of energy, or if I'm going to be dealing with one person who is very noisy, chaotic, and has all that kind of crazy energy. So protect your protective bubble. And all you have to do is just envision this bubble just starting at the crown of your head and just swirling around you all the way to the bottom of your feet. Okay. It could be any color. It could be any texture. Mine happens to have sparkles in it because that's just kind of the kind of gal I am. But it could be any texture, right? All you're doing is working energetically with your system. Okay. But what you're also doing is tricking the brain into thinking that you are actually protecting yourself. So you're not only working from a energy psychology point of view, you are also working from a human brain psychological point of view. All right, everyone. I hope this has been helpful. Please make sure you at least take a look at some of these books. You'll be surprised. I think you'll enjoy them. If you want to learn more about psychic development, if you want to learn more about your intuitive development, which are very much highly in tuned, or if you just want to talk about witchy stuff, you can find me. Okay, you can find me at silvermooncounseling.org. If you're looking for therapy as well, I'm a licensed professional therapist, so please come and see me. I use a variety of techniques, traditional and holistic. So yeah, but more than anything, please protect your energy. All right, everyone, take care and blessed be.